Welcome to Giant Redwood, where the majesty of towering trees meets the art of fine woodworking. Join us as we explore powerful tools, masterful techniques, and the beauty of handcrafted wood creations. Together, we'll bring wood to life. Hey everyone, welcome back to Giant Redwood. I'm so glad you're here. Are you working on any wood projects lately? Or maybe you're just starting to explore the world of woodworking. Drop a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear what you're creating. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because we've got so many exciting projects and tips coming your way. Also, feel free to share your ideas with me. What would you like to see in the next videos? Comment below. Today, we're going to use the table saw to create round dowels, a great solution for locking a wooden slab together, especially when dealing with wood that's prone to cracking or splitting. Dowels are not only a great way to strengthen your wood pieces, but they also provide a seamless, elegant solution for joining large slabs without visible screws or nails. So, let's get into it. The first step is to set up your table saw correctly. We're going to be cutting dowels, so we need a precise, consistent cut. Start by adjusting the blade to the correct height. You want the blade to be just slightly above the thickness of the wood you're cutting, ensuring that the cut is clean but doesn't cause excessive exposure. Next, adjust the fence on the table saw. The fence will guide the wood as it moves through the blade, so it's crucial to ensure it's perfectly parallel to the blade. This ensures that every cut is straight and uniform. You'll also need a push stick for safety. When cutting small pieces, always use a push stick to keep your hands safe from the spinning blade. For creating round dowels, you'll want to use a square piece of wood, preferably something strong like hardwood, so it can hold up under pressure. The ideal dimensions for the dowels depend on the size of the slab you're joining, but typically, a 1-inch square piece of wood works well. Once you have your piece of wood, make sure to measure and mark the sections you want to cut into dowels. The key here is consistency. So take your time to measure each section carefully to ensure they're all the same length. Using a square to ensure 90-degree angles can help ensure that the cuts will be uniform. Now, we're ready to start cutting. You'll be making a series of cuts along the wood to create dowels that will later be rounded. First, set your fence to the width you want your dowels to be. Typically, the diameter of your dowels should be around 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, depending on the scale of the project, but you can adjust this to fit your needs. Start by making your cuts slowly and steadily. Keep your hands well away from the blade, and use a push stick to feed the wood through the saw. It's best to make several shallow cuts, rather than trying to cut too much material at once. This way, the saw doesn't become overloaded, and you're more likely to get clean, accurate cuts. As you cut, you may notice that the wood starts to create thin strips. These strips are the beginnings of your dowels. Depending on the thickness of your cuts, you may need to adjust the saw blade height slightly to achieve the correct shape for each dowel. Once you've made the initial cuts, you'll have square pieces of wood that will eventually become round dowels. To round them, you'll need to use a router or a dowel cutting jig attached to your table saw. If you're using a router, set it up with a round over bit. Clamp the wood piece securely to the work surface and slowly guide it through the router to round the edges. If you're using a dowel cutting jig, carefully follow the jig's instructions for cutting dowels. This step may take some time and patience, but don't rush it. Gradually round the edges until you achieve the desired diameter and smoothness. Keep your hands clear from the rotating bit or blade, and make sure to check your dowels periodically for consistency. Once your dowels are cut and rounded, it's time to smooth out any rough spots. Use sandpaper or a sanding block to smooth the edges and surfaces of the dowels. This is especially important if you plan to fit these dowels into tight holes, as rough edges can cause friction or make insertion difficult. For larger projects or multiple dowels, consider using a drill press to help ensure uniform depth and consistency when drilling holes for the dowels. You can also use a clamp to hold your wood slab in place while you drill, ensuring that your dowels align perfectly with the holes. Now that your dowels are ready, it's time to use them to lock the wooden slab. Measure and mark the placement of the holes where the dowels will go. Use a drill with a dowel jig to create holes in the wooden slab. The depth of the hole should match the length of the dowel you created. Insert the dowels into the holes, applying wood glue to both the dowel and the hole. Then, clamp the pieces together and allow the glue to dry. The dowels will help lock the slab together, providing structural integrity and preventing any cracking or splintering that can occur when the wood dries or shrinks. In conclusion, creating round dowels for locking a wooden slab together is a highly effective technique that helps strengthen the piece and prevents wood from cracking or splitting over time. With the right setup and careful cutting, your table saw becomes a powerful tool for not only cutting dowels, but also bringing together multiple wood pieces into a solid, durable whole. Whether you're building furniture, framing, or doing a woodworking project that requires precision, these techniques will help you achieve clean, professional results. First, selecting the correct drill bit is essential. For drilling through a thick piece of wood, you'll need a long drill bit. In this case, a 3-meter long bit. These bits are designed to drill deep holes, and they can be used for tasks like installing dowels or running pipes through thick material. Make sure the bit is specifically designed for wood, with a sharp tip that will help guide the hole without wandering. It's also crucial that the bit is sturdy and well-maintained. A dull drill bit can cause uneven drilling and can even get stuck in the wood, so ensure it's sharp before starting. For this particular task, you might need to use a drill press or a large handheld drill capable of handling the length and torque required. Before starting, make sure your wood is properly supported. A 3-meter long drill bit will create a lot of leverage, so it's essential that the wooden slab is firmly secured. Place the slab on a workbench or a set of sawhorses, and use clamps to hold the wood steady. This will prevent the wood from shifting during drilling and ensure that your hole is straight. Next, mark the exact point where you want the hole to start. Use a square and a measuring tape to carefully measure the location and ensure it's centered. You'll also want to use a center punch to create a small indentation at the drilling point. This will help guide the drill bit and prevent it from slipping at the start. Now, let's prepare the drill. Since we're working with a long drill bit, it's important to have a drill that can support the length and provide enough torque to get through the wood. If you're using a drill press, ensure that the drill bit is securely mounted and that the machine is aligned vertically with the wood. If you're using a handheld drill, make sure it's a heavy-duty model capable of handling long bits without binding. First, selecting the correct drill bit is essential. For drilling through a thick piece of wood, you'll need a long drill bit. In this case, a 3-meter long bit. These bits are designed to drill deep holes, and they can be used for tasks like installing dowels or running pipes through thick material. Make sure the bit is specifically designed for wood, with a sharp tip that will help guide the hole without wandering. It's also crucial that the bit is sturdy and well-maintained. A dull drill bit can cause uneven drilling and can even get stuck in the wood, so ensure it's sharp before starting. For this particular task, you might need to use a drill press or a large handheld drill capable of handling the length and torque required. Before starting, make sure your wood is properly supported. A 3-meter-long drill bit will create a lot of leverage, so it's essential that the wooden slab is firmly secured. Place the slab on a workbench or a set of sawhorses and use clamps to hold the wood steady. This will prevent the wood from shifting during drilling and ensure that your hole is straight. Next, mark the exact point where you want the hole to start. Use a square and a measuring tape to carefully measure the location and ensure it's centered. You'll also want to use a center punch to create a small indentation at the drilling point. This will help guide the drill bit and prevent it from slipping at the start. Now, let's prepare the drill. Since we're working with a long drill bit, it's important to have a drill that can support the length and provide enough torque to get through the wood. If you're using a drill press, ensure that the drill bit is securely mounted and that the machine is aligned vertically with the wood. If you're using a handheld drill, make sure it's a heavy-duty model capable of handling long bits without binding. Inspect the hole for any signs of cracking or splintering around the entry and exit points. If needed, use a chisel or a file to clean up the edges and ensure the hole is uniform. While this job requires powerful equipment and precise technique, safety should always be your top priority. Always wear safety goggles to protect your eyes from flying wood chips, and wear a dust mask to avoid inhaling wood particles. Additionally, use ear protection if the drilling process is particularly loud or if you're using a large drill press. Lastly, always ensure that you're standing in a safe position with a firm grip on the drill and that you're fully aware of your surroundings to prevent accidents. The weight and torque involved in using a 3-meter-long drill bit can be significant, so maintaining control is crucial. In conclusion, drilling a 3-meter hole through a wooden slab is a challenging yet achievable task with the right preparation and equipment. By following these steps, choosing the right drill bit, and maintaining steady, even pressure, you'll be able to create a precise hole that's perfect for locking your wooden slabs together or for any other project that requires a deep, clean hole. Patience and proper technique are the keys to success, and with the right setup, your project will turn out great. Now, let's take a look at the orbital sander, a great tool for achieving smooth, even finishes on wood surfaces. This sander uses a round sanding disc that moves in an orbital, random motion, which helps eliminate any swirl marks or uneven sanding. It's perfect for smoothing large surfaces or removing rough patches before applying your finish. When using the orbital sander, make sure to apply light, even pressure. Let the sander do the work. Pressing too hard can cause scratches or uneven surfaces. Keep the sander moving constantly to avoid sanding any area for too long, which can cause the wood to burn or damage the surface. Also, remember to regularly check and replace the sanding discs, especially when they become clogged or worn out. A fresh disc ensures consistent results and a smoother finish. Now, let's talk about the belt sander, a powerful tool that can help you quickly smooth and level large, rough surfaces of wood. This tool is perfect for heavy-duty sanding tasks, such as flattening uneven boards or removing old finishes. The continuous belt of sandpaper allows you to cover a lot of ground quickly, making it great for bigger projects. The first step is to set up your belt sander correctly. Start by selecting the right grit of sandpaper for your job. For rough sanding, you'll want to use a coarser grit like 60 or 80. If you're finishing up or prepping for a top coat, switch to a finer grit like 120 or 220 to achieve a smooth, professional surface. Before you begin sanding, make sure the belt is properly aligned. If the belt isn't straight, it can wander off-center during use, causing uneven sanding and potentially damaging the wood. Check the tension of the belt, too. It should be tight enough to stay in place without slipping, but not so tight that it puts excess strain on the motor. When you're ready to start, remember to use both hands to hold the sander firmly and maintain control. Position yourself so you're standing at a safe distance from the sander and the wood. Start the sander and let it reach full speed before making contact with the wood. Apply light, even pressure. Don't push the sander down too hard. Let the tool do the work for you. Forcing it can cause gouges in the wood or uneven sanding. As you move the sander across the surface, keep it moving in long, smooth strokes. It's important not to stay in one spot for too long, as this can cause sanding marks or damage the wood. Always move in the direction of the grain whenever possible, especially when using the finer grits. This reduces the risk of visible scratches or swirl marks. When working on larger areas, overlap your passes slightly to ensure even sanding. Don't forget to periodically check the sanding belt for wear. A worn-out belt can slow down the sanding process and make your work less effective. Keep an eye on the wood surface as you work. You're looking for a consistent, smooth texture without any uneven spots. One of the main challenges with the belt sander is controlling the amount of pressure you apply. If you apply too much pressure, it can cause the sander to leave deeper scratches or cause the belt to wear unevenly. For best results, use light pressure and let the sander glide over the surface. Once the initial sanding is done, switch to a finer grit to smooth the surface further. This helps to eliminate any marks left by the coarser sandpaper and prepares the wood for finishing. Be sure to sand the edges and corners carefully, as these areas can often be overlooked. Finally, always wear protective gear when using a belt sander. The tool generates a lot of dust, so be sure to wear a dust mask and goggles to protect your eyes and lungs. If possible, use a sander with a dust collection bag or connect it to a shop vacuum to keep the workspace clean and reduce airborne particles. In conclusion, the belt sander is an invaluable tool for smoothing rough wood surfaces, especially when working with large areas. With the right sanding technique and a steady hand, you can achieve a perfectly smooth and level surface, ready for finishing. Just remember to work slowly, maintain control, and regularly check the condition of your sanding belt to get the best results. Now, let's finish up by applying a wood primer, a crucial step to protect and prepare your wood for finishing. A high-quality primer not only seals the wood, but also enhances the adhesion of your paint or stain, ensuring a more durable, smooth finish. Before applying the primer, make sure the surface is clean and sanded. Apply the primer using a brush, roller, or sprayer, ensuring an even layer across the entire surface. Avoid applying too much at once. A thin, uniform coat works best. Once applied, allow it to dry completely. Typically, this takes about an hour, depending on the product. Afterward, lightly sand the surface to remove any imperfections before applying your final top coat. This step ensures that your finish will be smooth and long-lasting.